The sound comes first. Metal slamming metal. A cell door crashing shut so hard it shakes the concrete floor. Somewhere down the tier, a man screams. Not in pain, not in anger, but in fear. The kind of fear that empties your lungs and leaves you gasping. Inside San Quentin, fear travels faster than footsteps. On the tier, known as the Adjustment Center, lights never fully go dark. Shadows stretch across peeling walls. Men with tattooed faces press back against their bars as alarms scream. Correctional officers rush past with shields raised. Someone has been stabbed. No one says who. No one needs to. Blood drips through the cracks of the floor above, landing in slow red drops near a drain that never quite works. Inmates know what this means. Lockdown is coming. Hours, maybe days, trapped inside cells the size of a bathroom, with nothing but thoughts and memories to keep them company. A tattooed man grips the bars of his cell. Ink crawls up his neck. Numbers, names, symbols only a few understand. His eyes don't follow the officers. They follow the floor. He knows the man bleeding out above him. They ate together 3 nights ago. They laughed. They made plans they knew would never happen. This is not a movie scene. This is not rumor. This is life inside San Quentin State Prison, the oldest and most feared prison in California. A place where death row sits just yards from general population. A place where violence doesn't announce itself. It just arrives. And the question every man inside asks, even if he never says it out loud, is simple. How to get this bad? The answer starts long before the alarms. Long before the blood. Long before the door slammed shut. This channel is created for educational, documentary, and informational purposes only. All stories, events, and individuals discussed are based on public records, news reports, court documents, and documented sources from the United States, United Kingdom, and Canada. The content presented does not promote violence, crime, or illegal activity. Any opinions expressed are intended for analysis and commentary and should not be interpreted as factual accusations against any individual or institution. Some visuals, reconstructions, or narratives may be dramatized or simplified to enhance storytelling clarity while remaining faithful to the documented facts. Viewer discretion is advised, as this channel may contain disturbing themes related to crime, incarceration, and mental health. This channel does not provide legal, medical, or professional advice. All rights to referenced media belong to their respective owners, and no copyright infringement is intended. If this story opened your eyes, don't let it end here. Hit like so this video reaches more people who need to see the truth. Subscribe for real crime and prison documentaries you won't see on mainstream media. And comment below, do you think the justice system failed here, or did it get it right? San Quentin rises out of the hills overlooking San Francisco Bay, its walls cutting into the landscape like a scar that never healed. From the outside, it almost looks calm. Water glimmers in the distance. Seagulls circle overhead. Tourists drive past without stopping. Inside, calm is an illusion. The prison was built in the 1850s, and much of it still feels trapped in another century. Narrow walkways, rusted bars, cells designed for silence, now holding men who carry decades of anger, loss, and regret. For new arrivals, the first walk inside is quiet. Too quiet. Chains clink around ankles. Hands cuffed behind backs. The smell hits next. Old concrete, sweat, bleach, and something sour that never quite leaves. Men already inside watch from behind bars, faces half-hidden, tattoos spilling down arms and across skulls. They aren't staring out of curiosity. They're measuring. One of those men is Marcus Hale, 36 years old, covered in tattoos that tell his life story better than words ever could. A skull across his chest. A clock without hands on his shoulder. Names crossed out along his ribs. Marcus didn't arrive at San Quentin dreaming of survival stories. He arrived knowing one truth. Reputation matters more than innocence. He learned that on his first night. The cell door closed behind him with a sound he would never forget. His cellmate didn't speak at first. Just sat on the lower bunk, tattooed, knuckles resting on his knees. Finally, the man looked up, and asked one question: who you run with? In San Quentin, that question decides everything. Race, gangs, geography. Lines are drawn fast and defended hard. Sit at the wrong table. Talk to the wrong person. Look at someone the wrong way. Any of it can turn deadly. Marcus chose his words carefully. He had learned how to read rooms long before prison. He gave an answer that kept him alive, for now. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. Marcus learned the rhythm of the yard. When to lift. When to keep his head down. Which officers watched too closely. Which ones looked away. He learned that violence here was not random. It was organized, quiet, planned, and always waiting. The worst place was the adjustment center. The hole. Concrete boxes stacked on top of each other, holding men deemed too dangerous for the rest of the prison. Some had attacked officers. Some had killed inside. Some were just caught on the wrong side of politics. Death row sat nearby. Men sentenced to die, living within earshot of men serving life. Some nights, screams echoed across the yard. Other nights, it was laughter, low and unsettling. Marcus tried not to listen. He focused on routine. Push-ups, letters he never mailed. The tattoos he added slowly, painfully, with homemade needles and stolen ink. But San Quentin does not let you stay invisible forever. It started with a look on the yard. A stare held half a second too long. Words exchanged that meant nothing to outsiders and everything inside. Marcus knew what was happening. He felt it in the air. Something was coming. The night before the stabbing, the prison went unusually quiet. No shouting, no arguments, just doors locking and unlocking over and over like a heartbeat speeding up. Marcus lay on his bunk, eyes open, listening to boots echoed down the tier. He thought about the man upstairs. Thought about how fast things turn inside these walls. In San Quentin, fear isn't sudden. It builds slowly. Then it explodes. And when the alarms finally screamed, when the blood hit the floor and the doors slammed shut, Marcus understood the truth every man here learns too late. Inside America's most feared prison, survival is never guaranteed. It is borrowed, and someone always comes to collect. The lockdown had just begun. The lockdown stretches time until it feels thick like breathing through cloth. Hours pass without clocks. Meals slide through slots without words. The lights stay on, buzzing softly, never letting sleep settle in fully. Marcus sits on his bunk, back against the wall, knees pulled in. Sweat runs down his spine, even though the air is cold. From somewhere above, he hears coughing. Someone is still alive up there. For now, when the tier finally unlocks, it happens without warning. No announcement, just the sharp click of mechanisms and officers shouting orders that echo off concrete. Doors open one by one, slow and controlled, like the prison itself is deciding who gets to breathe again. The stabbed man is gone. No body, no stretcher passed by Marcus's cell. Inside San Quentin, absence speaks louder than facts. Gone could mean the infirmary. Gone could mean the morgue. No one asks which. The yard opens 2 days later. Men file out in tight lines, eyes scanning, bodies tense. Sunlight hits skin that hasn't felt warmth in days. Tattoos glow darker under natural light. Faces, numbers, barbed wire, names of streets, and dead friends. Marcus steps onto the concrete yard and feels it immediately. The balance has shifted. The stabbing wasn't random. It never is. It was a message. And messages inside San Quentin don't end with one act. They ripple. He keeps moving, slow and steady, like he belongs exactly where he is. He does pull-ups near the fence, back muscles burning, eyes forward. He doesn't look toward the tables where groups sit close, heads leaned in, hands covering mouths. But he listens. Whispers drift on the air. The stabbed man's name. Who he owed. Who he talked to. Who he didn't talk to when he should have. Marcus knows the danger zone isn't the yard itself. It's the moments between. The walk back to the cell. The shower lines. The blind corners where cameras don't quite reach. Later that afternoon, he's called to work detail. Laundry. It's dull, hot, loud. Industrial machines roar as sheets, and uniforms spin endlessly. Steam fills the room. Visibility drops. It's the kind of place where accidents happen, and sometimes accidents are arranged. Marcus folds without rushing. He keeps his head down. Then a shadow falls across his station. A man stands there, older, shoulders thick, tattoos layered over tattoos like history written on skin. His face is calm. Too calm. "You knew him," the man says quietly. It's not a question. Marcus doesn't answer right away. Silence is currency in here. Spend it wrong, and you pay. "I saw him around," Marcus says. The man nods once. That's enough. He turns and walks away, disappearing into steam. Marcus's hands keep folding, but his pulse is loud in his ears. He knows what that exchange means. He's been noticed, not accused, not protected, marked as someone to watch. That night, back in his cell, his bunkie doesn't speak, just lies facing the wall. The silence between them feels heavier than any threat. Sleep comes in short bursts. Days pass. No more lockdowns. No more alarms. On the surface, San Quentin returns to routine. Count. Chow. Yard. Work. Count again. That's when men get hurt. The tension coils tighter. Marcus feels it every time he steps into a hallway. Every time he hears shoes scuff behind him. Then comes the search. Officers storm the tier early, shaking doors, barking orders. Cells are torn apart. Mattresses sliced. Legal papers dumped on floors. Someone down the line starts yelling. It ends with cuffs and boots dragging a man away. Contraband was found. A blade. Homemade. Sharp. Fresh. Rumor spreads fast. The blade wasn't for the first stabbing. That was just the opening move. Marcus eats, standing up that night, tray balanced on the edge of table. His appetite is gone, but he forces the food down. Weakness shows. As he throws his trash away, a folded note slips into his hand. No name, no signature, just 4 words scratched in pencil. Don't shower tomorrow. His chest tightens. Warnings inside prison aren't kindness. They're calculations. Someone is deciding whether you live or die, and they're letting you know the clock is ticking. Marcus doesn't tell anyone. He doesn't react. He goes back to his cell, lies on his bunk, and stares at the underside of steel above him. He thinks about choices. Everyone he's made. Everyone he's about to make. The next day, he skips the shower. That alone sets him apart. Men notice patterns. Deviations stand out. He feels eyes on him as he walks the tier, muscles tight, senses sharp. Nothing happens. That's worse. The day drags. Work detail. Count. Yard opens again in the late afternoon. The sun sits low, casting long shadows across the concrete. Marcus almost feels relief. Then he hears his name. Not shouted, not whispered, spoken normally from behind. He turns. 3 men stand close. Too close. Tattoos crawl up their necks, across shaved heads, down forearms thick with muscle. Their faces are blank. Professional. No one else on the yard seems to notice. Or maybe they choose not to. One of the men smiles slightly. You're coming with us. There's no place to run. No officer close enough to see clearly. The noise of the yard swallows everything. Marcus takes 1 step back. A hand grips his arm. Hard. The world narrows to heat, breath, tension. His heart slams against his ribs. This is it, he thinks. This is where San Quentin decides. Then a whistle shrieks across the yard. Sharp. Commanding. Down. Everyone down. Officers rush in, batons out, eyes locked. The grip on Marcus's arm loosens instantly. The 3 men step back, faces neutral again, as if nothing happened. Marcus drops to the ground with everyone else, cheek pressed to cold concrete. His breath comes fast and shallow. As cuffs snap on a wrist across the yard, he realizes something chilling. That wasn't the attack. That was the warning. And next time, there won't be a whistle. Night settles over San Quentin like a heavy lid. The bay air cools the concrete, but inside the cell block, the heat lingers, trapped between steel and bodies. Marcus lies awake, listening to the building breathe. Pipes knock. Someone coughs. Somewhere far off, a door slams and echoes until it fades into nothing. The warning replays in his head. The grip on his arm. The blank faces. The way it ended before it began. That's how power works here. It doesn't rush. It waits. Morning count comes early. Marcus stands at the bars, hands behind his back, eyes forward. An officer marks the clipboard and moves on. Routine. Predictable. That predictability is the most dangerous thing of all. It makes men careless. Chow is loud. Trays clatter. Voices bounce off the walls. Marcus sits where he's supposed to sit. He eats fast, not because he's hungry, but because being done early gives him time to watch. He notices who isn't there. Empty spots matter. After breakfast, he's pulled from the line and told to report to education. No explanation. No delay. The classroom smells like old paper and disinfectant. A few men sit at desks, pencils moving slowly. Tattoos snake out from sleeves and collars. Faces stay neutral. An officer stands by the door, arms crossed, eyes scanning. Marcus takes a seat in the back. Halfway through the session, a man 2 rows ahead shifts in his chair and drops his pencil. When he bends to pick it up, he whispers without looking back. Kitchen. Tonight. Marcus doesn't move. Doesn't nod. The words hang in the air like smoke. Kitchen assignments run late. Fewer cameras. Lots of noise. Steam. Knives counted and recounted, but things still disappear. Everyone knows that. Everyone pretends they don't. The rest of the day crawls. Yard opens, closes. Work detail drags. Count locks them in again. Dinner comes and goes. When Marcus is finally escorted to the kitchen, the room is alive with sound. Trays slide. Water hisses. Metal bangs against metal. Heat presses down from every direction. He keeps his hands busy, eyes alert. He spots the man from the classroom near the sinks. He spots another by the walk-in freezer. He spots a third leaning against a steel table, arms crossed, watching everything. This isn't a fight. It's a meeting. The man from the classroom steps close enough to be heard, but not seen. You're standing in a gap, he says. Someone wants it filled. Marcus scrubs a tray. I don't fill gaps. The man smiles faintly. Everyone does. Question is who you fill it for. A cart rattles past, blocking the view for a moment. When it clears, the man is gone. Minutes later, a shout erupts near the freezer. A tray tips. Someone slips. It looks like chaos. It isn't. Marcus feels it before he sees it. Movement at his side. A sharp pressure at his ribs, hidden by bodies and noise. A blade kisses skin, not deep, just enough. A message. Marcus jerks back, slams into a table. An officer turns. The pressure vanishes. The man is gone, swallowed by the room. Blood spreads under Marcus's shirt, slow and dark. Hey, someone yells. He's cut. Everything stops at once. Officers rush in. Orders fly. Marcus is pushed to the floor, face down, cuffed. Pain flares, sharp and hot. The infirmary is bright and cold. The cut is shallow, deliberate, clean. The nurse doesn't ask questions. She never does. Back in his cell, Marcus sits on his bunk, shirt taped shut, skin burning. His bunkie finally turns to face him. You still breathing, the man says. That's good. It is. Marcus asks. The bunkie looks away. Depends what comes next. Word spreads by morning. Marcus was touched. Not finished. That changes things. Some men nod when they see him. Some avoid his eyes. By afternoon, his name is on a transfer list. The adjustment center. The walk there is quiet. The hall's narrow. Light fades. Doors grow thicker. The air smells different, cleaner, somehow, and worse at the same time. His new cell is smaller. Solid door. A narrow window that shows nothing but concrete. This is where San Quentin puts problems it hasn't decided how to solve. Hours pass. Maybe days. Time blurs. Then, in the middle of the night, Marcus hears it. A scream. Close. Too close. It cuts off abruptly. Boots run. Keys jangle. A door slams. Marcus presses his ear to the steel. From somewhere down the tier, a voice whispers through vents and walls. They finished him. Marcus steps back, heart pounding. He understands now. The warning on the yard. The cut in the kitchen. The transfer. This isn't about punishment. It's about choosing who survives what's coming next. And inside San Quentin, the choice has already been made. The silence after the scream is worse than the sound itself. It hangs in the air, thick and unmoving, as if the prison is holding its breath. Marcus stands in the center of his cell, hands pressed against the cold steel door, listening for anything that tells him what happened down the tier. Nothing comes. No shouting. No alarms. Just the low hum of electricity and the distant crash of waves against the bay far beyond the walls. That tells him everything. When something bad happens in San Quentin and no one reacts, it means it was expected. Morning arrives without sunrise. The light above his door flicks on, harsh and white. A slot opens. A tray slides in. The slot closes. No words exchanged. No eye contact. Marcus eats slowly, forcing calm into his movements. In the adjustment center, behavior is watched closely. Fear smells different in here, and officers know it. Later, during shower rotation, he's escorted down the tier in cuffs. The showers are narrow concrete stalls, open at the top, steam collecting like fog. The guards stand back, eyes tracking reflections in steel surfaces. Marcus steps under the water and feels his muscles loosen for the first time in days. For a moment, he lets himself believe he might survive this place by staying quiet. Then he hears it, a low tap, metal against metal. Once, twice. He doesn't turn around. He doesn't have to. "You're late," a voice says from the stall beside him. Marcus keeps his face forward. "I didn't choose the timing." "No one does," the voice replies. The water runs. Steam thickens. The guard's boots shift slightly, but don't move closer. "You know why you're here," the voice says. Marcus exhales slowly. "I know why I'm not dead." A pause, then a soft laugh. "Fair." The voice lowers. "There's a problem on the yard. Power changed hands. People who talk got erased. People who didn't are being tested. And me?" Marcus asks. "You're useful," the voice says, "or you wouldn't still be standing." The water shuts off next door. Footsteps retreat. Marcus stays under the spray until his skin stings. Back in his cell, he replays every word. Power changed hands. That explains the stabbing, the cut, the transfer. Someone high up is cleaning house, and witnesses are liabilities. That afternoon, a counselor appears at his door. Civilian clothes. Clipboard held tight. "Pack up," she says. "You're moving." "Where?" Marcus asks. She doesn't answer. The move takes him out of the adjustment center and back toward an older block, one of the original wings of San Quentin. The walls here are cracked. Paint flakes off in strips. History presses in from every side. His new cell faces another tier. Across from him, a man sits on his bunk, head down. Tattoos cover his scalp, his face, his hands. Even from a distance, Marcus recognizes him. It's the man from the freezer. Their eyes meet for half a second. That's all it takes. That night, the tier is restless. Men pace. Someone laughs too loudly. Someone else bangs on bars for no reason at all. Marcus lies back and stares at the ceiling, tracing cracks with his eyes. He understands now what's being asked of him. He isn't being punished. He's being positioned. Just before lights dim, a note slides across the floor into his cell. No sound. No warning. 2 words this time. Tomorrow. Yard. Marcus closes his eyes. The yard is where things end. Or begin. As the lights click off and shadows fill the cell, Marcus realizes the most dangerous part of San Quentin isn't the violence. It's the waiting. Because by this time tomorrow, he won't be a bystander anymore. He'll be part of the story the prison tells itself. Morning breaks over San Quentin without warmth. The fog from the bay presses against the walls, creeping through cracks and settling low on the yard. When Marcus steps out of his cell for count, the air feels heavy, like the prison already knows what the day is going to take. No one speaks to him on the walk down. That's new. Men usually test the edges with looks or half-words. Today, they give him space. Space inside San Quentin is never kindness. It's preparation. The yard opens late. Gates grind apart. Concrete stretches wide and empty before filling with bodies. Groups form fast, drawn by lines that were decided long before anyone arrived here. Tattoos mark those lines clearly, symbols etched deep into skin, darkened by years and sun. Marcus walks the perimeter, slow and controlled. He feels eyes tracking him from every direction. He doesn't look back. The man from a freezer stands near the pull-up bars. 2 others flank him. All 3 with the same calm expression, the kind that doesn't belong on a yard like this. Marcus stops a few feet away. No handshake, no greeting. "You ready?" the freezer man asks. "For what?" Marcus says. The man glances toward the guard tower, then back. For being useful. A whistle blows somewhere behind them, long and sharp. Movement ripples across the yard as officers reposition. This is the window. Marcus understands that now. You got choices, the man continues. Bad ones and worse ones. Marcus studies the ground between them. Cracks filled with dirt. Old stains no one ever cleaned. What happens if I say no? Marcus asks. The man smiles without humor. You already saw that. Marcus thinks of a scream in the night. The silence that followed. What happens if I say yes? The man's smile fades. Then you live longer than most. A shadow crosses the yard as clouds shift overhead. For a second, the yard looks like a black and white photograph. Timeless. Brutal. Marcus nods once. That's all it takes. The man steps back. The two beside him peel away, blending into the crowd. No celebration. No threats. Just business concluded. The rest of the yard feels wrong. Too quiet. Conversations drop off when Marcus walks by. He catches fragments of whispers. His name. The word involved. Back inside, his cell door closes with a familiar finality. He sits on his bunk, elbows on knees, hands hanging loose. This is the part people on the outside never see. The waiting after the decision. Late afternoon, count passes. Dinner trays slide in and out. The sky outside darkens again. Then, just before lights out, the tear erupts. Shouting. Metal slamming. Someone screams an officer's name. Boots thunder down the walkway. Marcus stands, heart pounding, moving to the bars. Across the tier, a cell door stands open when it shouldn't be. Inside, a man lies on the floor, not moving. Blood streaks the concrete, fresh and dark. Officers rush in. Orders fly. The tier locks down hard. Marcus steps back as his own door seals shut. His breathing slows as understanding settles in. That wasn't random. That was payment. From somewhere down the tier, a voice carries low and steady, barely audible through steel and noise. You're in now. Marcus sits on his bunk as lights dim, his tattoos catching the last glow before darkness takes over. He knows the prison will keep moving. More deals. More blood. More silence. San Quentin doesn't stop. And now, neither can he.